On today's episode of the Nostalgia Test podcast, we continue the Metallica era's journey with 2003's out.
2003's album.
with 2003's release, Saint Anger, along. Well, God, let me just start over from this shit. It's fucking ridiculous. On today's episode of the Nostalgia Test podcast, we continue the Metallica era's journey with their 8th studio album, Saint Anger, and along with the documentary.
Get through the intros so bad.
Along with the documentary, Some Kind of Monster, and we put both to the ultimate test, the Nostalgia Test. I'm madly in anger with you. I don't know. I think I'm gonna cut all that together, just like this album was cut together. Welcome everyone to the Nostalgia Test podcast. I'm your host Dan Dissinger here in LA, and I'm here with my two longtime friends. First and co-host Bill D'Elia here. Billy, welcome.
What's up, motherfuckers?
And here with longtime friend, and I guess maybe coming up on 4th co-host, Jeremy. What do you think? Jeremy Madson there in Virginia. Jeremy, along for the Metallica ride. Here we are. How are you doing?
Wow, here we are again, guys.
Here we are
indeed.
This is the album that we've been talking about doing and been avoiding for months now.
Literally.
Because it is the one album that I feel has put the biggest damper on the Metallica legacy and just on the experience. I mean, we've already done, you should go back and listen to the thrash era episode, the, I guess, 90s and like MTV type era with the Black Album, Load and Reload, and then also go on the Spotify and check out our mix of Unload. The actual, it should have been the release of Load and Reload, Unload, and then now we're here, 2003, Saint Anger, and Some Kind of Monster, the documentary of this, the making of this album, or unmaking of Metallica, however you want to actually think about it. Yeah, I want to go around and just ask, do you remember when this came out? How fast did you go and buy this album? And then how quickly did it take you to realize that it wasn't good?
I'm going to go
I remember
on a
distinctly
limb and say we're not doing a remix playlist for this one. It would just be 45 minutes of silence.
Exactly. It would have to be.
Yeah.
I distinctly remember this coming out because I remember, with all the shit where Jason got fired and then James went into rehab, all the shit that goes in, and then we know the recording. And then, Doug, it was actually when you came out to drive back to LA with me and they did that MTV Icon shit. The Metallica Icon thing, and me and Jeremy watched that in a hotel room in fucking Arizona or something, I want to say, right?
I don't know, somewhere in the middle of the country.
And they played the beginning of Frantic, like the part before it gets stupid, like where it just kicks off, and then you're like, oh, this sounds pretty fucking heavy, like especially compared to Load and Reload. So, but it was literally 30 seconds at the beginning, maybe. So then I remember being amped for it. It came out the day of, and they premiered the Saint Anger video. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, this is fast, but I'm like, I don't know about this. And then I think we all went through that period where you tried to convince yourself that you liked it before you eventually came to the point where you're like, oh, this fucking sucks.
That is most of my memories of this period is your reactions to it, because I could just see you trying to reconcile yourself to it and trying to find redemption that this was good and that you liked it, and you couldn't force yourself over that hump, and it was painful for everyone to watch.
Dude, no joke. I remember that was the summer we went to the Yellow House 3 nights a week. Remember that?
Oh my God.
Somehow I do.
Remember that? I would come home hammered from the bar and pop in the DVD companion that had them playing the songs live, and I would watch it every night, trying to convince myself that this didn't suck.
Oh my God, dude, that is torturous. No. That is torturous. Holy shit! Wow. I mean, I remember this came out, and I immediately drove to Tower Records. I think was at Carl Place over there by the mall, right?
Yep.
With we'll bleep his name out, Joe Grimaldi. We went there. We bought that album, and put it on in his car,
I think I
And
was
that
with you because I remember we all went. Yeah.
maybe you did, yeah. And I remember
'Cause I
putting it
remember
on
being
the
with Joe
car.
also.
Yeah, that car that we almost all died in several times. And
Yeah.
that album, we kept trying to increase the volume to like convince ourselves that it was heavy. And though it was,
Maybe if we're just deaf.
yeah, it was heavy, but I was like, it's good. It's good. This is a good album. No, this is a good album. But yeah, I think it took several listens for me to realize I'm never gonna listen to this again. And I really didn't like the album cover. I was like, why is it
Oh, it's
cartoonish?
terrible. What a waste
And
of Pusshead's talent too, because
My God.
Pusshead's art is usually badass, dude.
It was the weird cardboard like fold out sleeve, and they took Pushead and it's like, how did you take a Pushead, you know, artwork and make it look stupid?
It's like
yeah,
a fist that should be like it looks like a sex toy. Like
yeah, and I'm like, why is it? What does this have to do with even this album? Like when you look at the other album covers, they all have something to do with it. I'm like, because he's angry, he's balled his hand up into a fist. What does that even mean? I don't
He's
get it.
madly in anger with you. It could not be more clear.
well, the people I remember like they sold it at the time as a necklace. And it would be like, wear Saint Anger around your neck. And I'm like, oh my God, shut the
Oh
fuck up.
God, that is like,
So
and
he
the-
only bought 3 of them.
No, I did not do that. I did not. I own nothing from the Saint Anger era.
yeah, I nothing. I own
Except for the album.
except for the album, which I might have thrown out. I'm not sure.
I don't think
I
I,
think I
threw
have it
away all
downstairs.
my. I think I got rid of all my CDs a couple years ago.
I still have the CDs. I probably kept the booklets for those 2, but
Yeah.
so it's a lot of times it comes up a lot when we're talking about nostalgia test. There are certain pieces of art or media that just enter your life at the perfect time. The movie examples I always give are like Home Alone, we were 8, Jurassic Park, we were 11, American Pie, we were 17, and then Old School, we were in college. Well, this was kind of the opposite. It came into our lives at the perfectly wrong time because we were 21. We had, you know, we had gotten into Metallica during the Load era and then gone back and just explored the treasure trove, the riches, the jewels of the thrash era and be like, oh my God, could it get any better than this?
Mhm.
And unfortunately, the answer that we were presented by the Saint Anger album is no, it won't. So stop hoping.
It was rough because it was like the last Reload had come out in 1997, right? 97, and then
Yep.
it took years for this to come out. And when you watch the documentary, it also took much longer to record because James goes to rehab, so it's an extra year or
It's
so.
like the first 15 minutes of the movie, right? It's like, oh, so we did this, and then James went to rehab for like 6 months, and we didn't do anything. And
Yeah,
here
because
we
they
are
were
again.
in
The
they
Presidio.
switched that's what yeah, they had that Presidio, which wasn't like some old famous thing that they rented. And then that's
It's
when
where
they
the
wound up
Walt
at HQ
Disney
afterwards.
Museum is now in San Francisco, like right on the bay by the bridge.
Yeah.
Didn't some other famous band record albums there or some shit? I think they talked about that.
I don't remember, but it's been a few months.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Yeah,
think
exactly.
like I was so, and I think the documentary, just like the album, was so very difficult to kind of also watch. It was like very, look, this album's long, the documentary's even longer, and I was just like, God damn. I was like, there's something going on here. Load and Reload were super long albums. This album was way too long. The documentary was about an hour too long, and I'm just like, what is Metallica thinking? 3 albums in a row, Load, Reload, Saint Anger, and I described it before we hit record as it being like a punch in the face, a punch in the gut, and then just a punch in the balls. Like this was like horrifying.
The documentary was strangely compelling. It was well done, and the thing that's just
It's
shocking
because the
about
guys are
it,
good filmmakers. Yeah.
right? But what's surprising is not even that's what was going on in their lives, but then they have this huge PR machine around them, and all of their their staff and their management who are all in the movie. Clearly they weren't on board with it, and then they just went ahead and really and let this thing out there anyway, and it's still there, and we're still able to watch it. And here we are 20 years later talking about it like, yeah, that was a mistake, they shouldn't have done that, and haven't really done anything to rectify it either.
No,
Dude, my favorite is the
done
scene
nothing.
where Lars's dad is there and he's like, Dad, what do you think of that? He's like, I would say delete that.
That was one of my favorite things I've ever seen. Oh my God. That was the greatest part of the documentary. Lars's father is literally telling him, do not release this. Like, this is really bad. And I'm sitting there going, wait, who's his dad? And I looked him up. I'm like, okay, like he's an authority on music and art and all this stuff. I mean, he's kind of a dick, which is fine. His son's also an asshole.
That's where Lars gets
Isn't he a professional? He was a professional tennis player, wasn't he?
He was a professional tennis player, artist. He was in some sort of jazz band at some point as well. Like, he wrote about music. He did all these things. And Lars is like, so what do you think? And he's just like straight up was just like, delete that. If I were you, I would erase it. Wow.
Dude, this, like, I'm looking at my notes where I said, and this goes back to what it is, because it was kind of like, this reminds me, because, you know, I'm a huge Stephen King fan, and he went through an era too where his books got very bloated, because I feel like no one had the balls to be like, yo, this sucks. So I write my notes here. This is the time where nobody had the balls to tell them that what they have sucks, except Lars's dad.
They were already in that period with Load and Reload, and now
that's what I'm saying. And this like took it to the extreme.
Right. You know, I was saying about how we were not the right, you know, age and mindset to appreciate it, because you get, there's something there about the catharsis, about this is where they were in their lives and their career, that they needed this, you know, palate cleanse, that they needed to get it out. But it's also clear that they're kind of, you know, trying to react to and overpower the, you know, the trends of the time period, right? I wrote in my notes, like, are they trying to make a System of a Down record? Like, obviously,
that's basically,
this is the reaction to new metal. It's like, okay, well, we'll make new metal. It's like, no, sirs, you're going the wrong way.
Yeah. And that's even where they take the solos out, where Kirk makes the point, and Lars is like, well, solos are a dated thing. And Kirk is like, no, if you take the solos out, you were dating it to this specific period in time. Like,
that was the smartest thing that was said in the whole documentary. Like, that Kirk was 100% on point with that, because when you look at some of the other metal albums that came out in 2003, they had fucking solos on them. Like, Black Dahlia Murder put out Unhallowed in 2003. There's solos on that album. Like, Chimera put out an album. Lamb of God is Palaces Burn. That comes out. That has solos on it. The Impossibility of Reason by Chimera, that has solos on it. Like, I mean, so the idea that they're saying, oh, solos are a dated thing, it's just like, no, actually, they're not a dated thing. You decided not to put them on there. And that was really stupid, because it made the songs too long with nowhere to go. If they wanted no solos, those songs should have been 3 minutes max. And that would have been the end of that. 100%. And I would maybe been on board if the album was 40 minutes.
I don't know, man. But it's also, here's another note that I have, like, because we watched Year and a Half of Life Metallica with the Black Album, right?
Yes.
And I remember, like, and this is right at the beginning where it says, you know, the way they're trying to write this, where they come in with no ideas and just jam, is the literal opposite of the Black Album, and it's fucking stupid ass lazy producing, like, because that's what made the Black Album, like, you know, I know that's a polarizing album for people too, right? But like, you can't argue with how tight those songs are, how well it was produced. And this is like the opposite. They're like, let's just pretend we're in a fucking garage jamming like shitty music, and Lars' fucking snare on his drum broke. Like,
they were out,
bro.
They're out of levers to pull, right? So they made Justice, and that was their technical masterpiece, and they knew they were never going to eclipse that in terms of just the musicianship and, you know, complexity and whatnot.
It's masturbatory guitar,
right? So you get to Black Album, it's like, all right, we'll just make it sound amazing and huge, and it does. And you go in a different direction. You got Sad But True, which is, you know, kind of a 180 from a lot of the thrash era, but is
slow and
amazing, slow and heavy, and it sounds amazing. Well, somehow in the preceding years, sticking with the same producer, they somehow managed to just keep shrinking the sound, even as they're making things louder. They're making things, you know, faster and more aggressive, but it just seems more. It just doesn't have the same impact anymore. You know, you can't get that high again.
No, and that would have been fine. I mean, they could have just like. I don't know. I think even if they took more time to figure this out, like, I just feel like, there was a lot of time between Reload and Insane Anger, but I don't know. Like you were saying, Bill, like the idea that like Stephen King had these like bloated books, and, you know, for one, I mean, Dreamcatcher, which I never read, but my God,
dude, yeah, it's like 800 pages of nonsense.
And then they made a movie about it too. They made a movie for it,
but like weasels.
Yeah, but like, it's like when
weasels in the film.
When you already, if we go from the Black Album to here, right? That's like almost 20 years, right? 20 years of music, right? No,
It's
no,
like 15, almost
15
15.
years, something like that, of music that is already polarizing your fan base. Like,
Yeah.
take a minute and think about what's going on. Your bassist, we have to talk about that, just quit the band. Like, Jason leaves the band and you're gonna rush into making an album now? Just
Yeah.
stop for a second. Like, what's the point? Oh, Bob
Chill.
Rock will play bass. What the fuck, are you kidding
And the
me?
See,
reason
that's the
he
thing. At this
left
point,
the
Bob thought he
band,
was in the band at this point. Bob's
Oh.
like,
And-
I'm in the band.
and the reason Jason left the band was because they were sitting on their ass, and he wanted to go out and do some other stuff, and
Have a side project.
they wouldn't let him.
No,
And
no
then
way.
and then James immediately went to rehab for several months, and he could have probably knocked out 4 albums while they were waiting.
But yeah, exactly.
How
That
about when they're talking about what sent him to rehab, where he's like, I went to Russia to go bear hunting, and we just drank vodka in the woods all day. And I'm like, oh
Yo,
my God, dude.
that was
God,
crazy.
Jesus, bro.
He's like, yeah, and I missed some key things. I wish I could have been there when my son's
It's like his
birthday. It's like,
first
you
birthday.
could have been there. You went bear hunting in Russia and Siberia, you maniac. Like, don't try to lay some guilt trip or make that, like, you chose that. Like, you
They didn't
chose
ask you to
do
come kill those bears, James. The Russians didn't need you to do that. They have people.
that. Crazy.
Yeah,
is
here we
that?
go. My note says James talking about how he just told his wife he was going to Russia to go bear hunting and miss his son's first birthday. What a piece of shit. And then this is funny where James is talking about the trip, and Kirk goes, is the bear you hunt edible? And James is like, no, they just came out of hibernation and haven't pissed or shit in months. And Kirk has this look of complete disgust on his face because it's such a shitty thing to just kill the animal for no reason. Like,
what was that? Like, Kirk is the only one with a head on his shoulders. Like, seriously, he's sitting there, he's just like, I guess we're doing this. And he's on his ranch riding a horse. He's like, whatever it's gonna be is gonna happen. If Metallica breaks up, whatever. I mean, hey, whatever happens.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, he's so calm about it, so zen. He's just no ego, just kind of trying to do this thing. And Lars is all ego, not being able to be talked to, and James is just, I'm surprised he didn't fucking kill Lars during this documentary.
dude, Lars is like a petulant
Or at any
child
other point in
during
the last
this whole
40
thing.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I do think it was interesting when they interviewed Jason and talk about it. And I'm just looking at some of the stuff I wrote where he goes, these guys' plates are filled with many things, and music is just one of those things. He's like, music to me is my children. And then you could see, like, in the interview, he's so fucking hurt by how they treated him, right? Where he's like, these are like my guys. And then I love this quote where he goes too. He said how he was so against the therapist coming in. He goes, dude, this is so fucking lame and weak that we cannot get this together. The biggest heavy metal of all time. The decisions we've made together about squillions of dollars and people, and we can't get through this shit without a therapist. Like, he's not wrong. Like, it's a fucking metal quote right there.
Yeah.
Williams, yeah.
I mean, all they had to do was talk about things. All they had to do is go, okay, maybe we do need to take a break, or just like do different things. Like, why not let Jason go do Echo Brain? Like, what's the big fucking deal?
Or
Like,
release the
Because
version of the
love
album
is
with the
control. He'll die if he lets go.
There you go.
What was
Or
that, Jeremy?
release the version of the album with solos. You'll sell more albums. Isn't that the idea?
Yeah, who cares? Like, who cares? Let it be a remix. It is the remix of the album. But like, it just like, I don't know. Like, when I look at the songs, and I was listening to this album again like today, and I was just like, there are some like, Frantic is pretty cool, but then it gets
The
too,
lyrics are
it
bad.
goes, the lyrics are really bad. I mean, even
My lifestyle determines my destiny.
Yeah,
but the
all
riff
that
is solid.
tick, tick,
I
Word
think,
tick,
like,
salad. The second
throw
thing
the,
I wrote. Word
yeah.
salad.
exactly.
Yeah.
Throw the lyrics away, and I think, like, even as a song, like Frantic, I think you make the argument that's like a decent song structure. Like, okay, that's cool. I agree with you on that.
I'd cut it down.
Yeah, it's too long.
I tell you, we talk about the blow and everything just being too long. When I was listening to it, and I mean, I've had it in the background a few times. I wouldn't even notice when the tracks were changing. I'm like, oh, this is just still going on.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
know when, I think, Unnamed Feeling ended and then Purify started, until he started saying Purify.
So bad.
And then from
Purify!
and then from Purify to All Within My Hands, I was like, is this the same song? And it wasn't. I mean, Shoot Me Again, horrible. That song was horrible.
That and My World to me are the two worst songs on the album.
Oh, I mean, I actually didn't think Dirty Window was that bad, but it's not good.
That was a word salad one. My World, I
Yeah.
just wrote, I'm losing interest. After Invisible Kid, why is this 40 minutes long? The drums are getting old, but it could be tolerable with a normal snare, maybe.
And that's like All Within My Hands, once again, where some of these songs have cool riffs, like the chorus part where it's like da-na-na-na, da-na-na. Like that's like a cool riff.
Yeah.
But it's just
Then it
wasted.
goes on for 20 minutes.
It doesn't.
There's
end.
actually they thank God because they've been doing all those charity benefits every year where they do like an acoustic set. And I don't know if you've heard the acoustic version of All Within My Hands, but it's 1,000 times better than the actual version.
Nice.
Really.
I mean, it can't get worse than the regular one, right? So
I sometimes find it helpful, trying to get back into, you were talking, Dan, about the albums, the other metal albums that came out in that time period. And I was saying before we started, I was looking at some of the reviews and some of the things that were written about it. And one of the things that surprised me was a lot of them were positive.
Yeah.
Especially about expressing emotions. That's something, probably might not have registered with us as beer stunted 21-year-olds, possibly. But I also felt like a lot of them were making excuses. But there was one, and I quoted this to Dan, that amused me, which was Phil Freeman from the Houston Press characterized the album as having, quote, stolen helmet riffs and lyrics that sounded co-written by Hetfield's AA sponsor.
Yeah.
So bad. I mean, when you look at, oh my God, when you look at look, and I think James needed to do that because he came back and 100%. He was laser focused. But he was, but he was not ready to write an album in that band. No. I would like to have seen a James Hetfield solo project after that shit. That would have been kind of cool. Or they're
just jamming to get used to hanging out with each other again. But like the pressure of doing it. And the other thing, and I wrote here, and I completely stand by this. This is where they changed the writing process completely and let everyone have input on the lyrics. And Metallica's lyrics have never been the same since this, because Up Through Black, even the Load lyrics, like there are, it's basically like the darkness inside James's head. Oh yeah. And now here, like everyone's like, hey, I got this lyric, I got that lyric, and like change the writing process. And I get that it's probably emotionally healthier for them, but like I don't think the lyrics have ever been the same since then. There's no more nonsensical bullshit after this.
Yeah. No.
Well, the last track that I commented on was one we've talked about a lot here, which is Sweet Amber, which I said two things, which is it's a bad attempt at Slayer, but I could go for a beer.
Yeah.
That's
good. They should make a T-shirt that says that.
I know.
I could go for the beer. Beer drinking is not a crime, Bubbo.
If that's supposed to be an album, if that's supposed to be a song that's about recovery, it makes you want to have a beer. Like you're just like, it's just like Sweet Amber. It's just like, oh, okay.
How sweet is it? How sweet does it get? Like,
but then it's
sweet.
Let me see. How do we find out?
But then it sounds. I mean, look, how many times have we seen a song? Is it Sweet Leaf? Is that
the Sabbath song?
Sabbath?
Yeah, and then you have there's all these songs about this shit. It's just like it's not even an original idea in terms of like the concept of what the song really is.
Snowblind.
Yeah,
they wanted to call that whole album Snowblind, and the record label was like, absolutely not.
I like when the manager or the management guy came in from Q or
Cliff
whatever.
Bernstein from Q Prime. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
and he heard
that works with now because I think that guy. They managed Diplo also.
Oh, really?
Oh, fancy. So when he comes in and he says the first 4 tracks are pretty good, he's like, but I don't know what's going on afterwards. Like he knew. You can see his face. He's looking at the wall. He's trying to if he had to sit through an hour and 14 minutes staring at them while they're playing it, I'd be like, guys, this is really uncomfortable. I need to go in another room. But at the same time,
just send it to me.
Yeah, just send this to me. What are we listening to? This is not good.
Cassette.
Everyone was telling them this is not good, and they just kept going. Except for Bob Rock, who, I mean, I think he just fucking sleptwalk his way through producing this.
Bro. That's the thing, because I mean, if you look at what he did with the Black Album, I thought was phenomenal. Where like you watch that movie, and like he's pissing Kirk off to do another take because like, no, good enough is not good enough. Like we need it to be perfect. And you're right. It looks like he just mailed it in here. And I wonder if part of it is like no one knew what the fuck, how to navigate any of this, right? And they're like, okay, like cool.
Because they came in with no ideas, like you said. Yeah,
Coach,
they came in with nothing.
The coach lost the room, but he had Shaq and Kobe there, and nobody was going to tell them what to do.
Yeah,
exactly. And the idea that they were like, we're just going to sit in this room and jam. It's just like, but you're not a jamming band. Like, you don't do that. Like, you don't never jam.
Same fish, bro.
Yeah. Have it with the beginning where James is like, Lars, give me a regular beat, and he's playing something weird, and James is getting so fucking angry. I think it's before he went to rehab. And he's like, that's not a regular beat. He's like, I'm experimenting. He's like, give me a regular beat. Like he's getting so angry because it's like something that like a idiot 4-year-old would play what Lars is playing. It makes no sense.
That's the thing, man. And I know as I've been like edit these episodes and listen to the Metallica ones, I'm just like, we will never get a chance to interview them because because who we are. Like, we're just a bunch of knuckleheads sitting in a podcast in a Zoom room. But if we ever did, I would be like, it would be hard to not go, do you watch yourself? Like, do you have any like self-awareness of how you treated Jason and James and just everyone in the room? Like,
I think they do now.
And I think
a
petulant child.
If you see interviews with them now, actually both commented on the fact that they've gone so far in the direction of being, touchy-feely and in touch with their emotions and everything. It's like, it's overkill. It's like, okay, all right, let's
weird. Like if you listen to any of the Stern interviews with Lars, like they're very weird. He's like, now I have to eat my oat pancakes every morning to make sure at the end. I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, and that's when I have to go back to live shit era and just listen to drunken James just whipping 50,000 people into a frenzy of bliss.
Yeah. Let's not talk. We haven't touched on what is the best part of Some Kind of Monster, which is the Mustaine scene.
Oh, my little Danish friend.
That was
so ridiculous.
That's the only reason that they let this be out there still, is so that they can just continue to embarrass Dave.
Oh, I don't think that he even took that seriously. Obviously, he didn't. I mean, that was a joke.
30 years later, like, I think we're literally 22 years later, and like I saw an interview last week where he's still talking about James kicking his dog.
like what is going on? Like, is he okay? Like, it's really.
I don't think so.
Like, watching that, he's talking about how, like, do you know how any of that made me feel all this time? And people think I'm the worst. It's like, dude, no one gives a shit. They like your band, and shut up. You go on world tours. You're like, you're selling millions of albums.
Like, dude, like, you're in Megadeth. Like, what the fuck? It's not like you don't work at Staples.
Like, he made it sound like they kicked him out and he became Sid Barrett. And, like, like, he got kicked out and made his own band and like tours the world and has had a successful career. He really just wanted to be in Metallica.
Exactly. He found it was probably the second most commercially successful band of the big four. Like, I think Megadeth's probably made more money from album sales than Slayer or Anthrax, right? Like,
that 1,000%.
Anthrax.
So it's like, dude, what the hell? What's wrong with you?
I said definitely than Anthrax. I think they're clearly the least big of the big four. No disrespect.
Because Megadeth had some commercial shit, right? So with Angry Again and Risk. So, but that scene is just so crazy, man. Like,
it's rough to watch.
This is what I wrote. The Dave Mustaine thing is fucking gold. This guy is such a piece of shit, and he's still talking about it 20 years later. And then he talks about like digging a hole in the dirt and smoking hash through the ground.
What was that?
What? What are you talking about?
Like, what was that? Like, you should be like, if this is supposed to be a reconciliation, like, there was no seriousness in that part. It was just Dave Mustaine trolling Lars and Metallica and sitting there going like, oh, I'm so upset to not have been hanging out with my Danish friend. And Lars sitting there trying not to, like, I don't know. I don't think Lars even heard a word he said the entire time he sat
let me
there.
get out of this room. It's the funniest was, I think I may send you guys, did you see where like 20 years later when they did the big four, they show them meeting up again, and Lars like, I gotta tell you something funny. For a period of time, my son's favorite band was Megadeth, and Dave goes, did you beat him?
It's so fucking crazy. It's so ridiculous.
Dude, it's just two assholes is what it is. I think that's why it wouldn't have worked.
No.
Because Lars's ego would not have worked with with
No.
Mustaine's asshole.
Never.
Would not have
Never.
worked.
Absolutely not. No. Oh,
But
God. I mean,
But yeah, and then it's the documentary is just like there's so much more gold. I'm looking at these notes where like when they go to see Echo Brain
oh,
and
that was
Jason
sad.
just dips on them afterwards and
Good.
doesn't even say hi. And then Lars, I wrote this down. Lars goes, "Man, there's a lot of people here. I thought it would be Jason playing in front of 20 drunks. Like you're such an asshole,
Oh
dude."
my God.
The fact that they let that be released and how badly they treated him, and then afterwards, and then during the Icon thing, when like the thing when they said, well, he's not an icon anymore, it's just like, excuse me, he is 100% an icon. He's part of the band. He should have
Yeah,
been there. I love Rob Trujillo. I think he's a great musician, but there was no reason for him to
no,
be at the icon performance. It should have been Jason or no one. Then you just get a
exactly.
guest bass player, and then you just
Bob Rock.
perform. Yeah, exactly. That was they just trolled Jason so badly. That was not
Yeah, that
right.
was messed up. Because even
Yeah,
they've done it before with other bands, like I think when Guns N' Roses got inducted to the Rock and Roll of Fame, like they brought everyone back.
yeah.
Even I think Steven Adler was even there.
You
So,
have
There's
to.
always contentious with those with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame things, which is
oh yeah,
can be kind of a joke anyway. But yeah, that was not cool, bros. Not cool.
No,
dude. There's
no.
some. I have a bunch of quotes I wrote down that are so great. Where like, but at one point Bob Rock goes, James like I can only work like 4 hours a day or whatever, and
That
Bob's
was
like, at
great.
some point we're gonna have to work a little harder, and James gave him like a death stare. And then and then James goes, when you work past 4 p.m. and I walk in, it feels like something's already been decided. It's not a good feeling. And Kirk goes, well, that's like the last 15 years for me. That was like my favorite because Kirk's like, yeah, whatever, bro. Good, welcome to my life.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
The album.
it's
Ugh,
yeah. The other weird thing, did anyone notice that Lars's hair changes like from long to
changes color.
short? But it'll be a long and short, and it's like 3 days later, and
I
it'll go
know.
from short to long. And I'm like, is he wearing a wig? Like, what's going
No,
on here?
just bad editing.
That's probably what it is. They probably got the dates wrong.
Yeah. Ugh. Ugh. Do we want to talk about James's vocals?
They're really
'Cause
bad.
Uh, Maybe not. I mean, is there any musical element of this that you really want to think more about?
that's the funny part. Like when we did Load and Reload, there were things to talk about musically. Because there are songs that are songs. And this album is more like
Be right back.
we have we
Sounds.
don't we want yeah, we want to do a rap metal album, but none of us rap. We want to do new metal, but we never did new metal. And
We
we
don't want to
want
learn anything. We're just gonna do what we imagine it is,
yeah,
and everyone's gonna tell us it's great, and it's gonna be great.
yeah,
I
and
think
it's
he
like
went to
we're
get a beer, didn't he?
Metallica. Yeah. But it's not like they did anything new. They didn't do anything. They just
No,
it really just like when you
there's
look at
nothing
it, and I
interesting.
I don't really understand because Jeremy, like I was looking up just reviews from this album on Wikipedia, and it like on okay, Pitchfork gave it zero point 0.8 out of 10. That's like the greatest thing
Generous,
I've ever seen.
generous.
Yeah, but like, but like Rolling Stone gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Like
Yeah.
Spin gave it 8 out of 10. Like NME gave it 9 out of 10. Like I'm like sitting there looking. I'm like, I thought this was panned, but I guess it wasn't. And it was just like it's confusing because the way I experienced it as a fan was listening to it and immediately being like, these guys are doing the worst version of Slipknot, and I hate
Yeah.
this. I hate this album, and I almost was like, I might hate Metallica at this point because that was a real big question for me. It was like, can I continue to listen to this band? I don't know
Knowing
if you can
this.
like take them seriously because like that makes it almost like that 4 or 5 albums that came out like a fluke because here's 3 albums and not one of them hit. Like not
Let
one
me
of
Yeah.
them hit.
let me assure you that Bill and I saw Slipknot in 2001, and Metallica was not performing at that level at that time.
No,
No,
exactly.
certainly not.
Exactly. Exactly. Everything they did because they have that weird snare sound actually. Like they have that weird
Not
industrial
it's not as
sound.
obnoxious as this one though. Like I think there you're hearing the keg being hit, right?
Oh God, that's right.
But I
That's
think
right.
that's what I
The
think
eighth
that's what
member
they're
of
going
Slipknot.
for. But the problem is
Yeah.
like when you listen to this album, the drum is just like bang, and it's fucking like
Yeah.
it's just
Dong, dong,
hitting
dong,
like a
dong, dong, dong,
metronome
dong,
hitting
dong.
you in the head annoyingly, and I can't focus on anything else. I'm like, ah!
Yeah.
It's not good.
It's like, you know how like you know, the SNL sketch, like more cowbell.
Yeah.
This was like way less Lars. Let's like do what they did to
Please just
Jason
shut Lars off.
and Injustice, and let's mix Lars right out of the whole album and just mix
Instrumental,
his
please.
whole snare down, because it was
Yeah.
again, this wasn't music making. Like you said, Bill, before, like you were talking about the Pro Tools, like they even said, like in the documentary, like how they put it together, and they just kept looping things, and I'm like, and James wasn't even in a booth to do the vocals. He was just standing
Very weird.
in a room, screaming and crying into a microphone, and I'm like, oh my God! I was like, this is why this sounds like this. This is like they were just. It was almost like they were being forced to do this. Like someone put a gun to their head and like, put this album out. Let's do this. And I'm like,
That's why I wonder if the label did. Like they didn't get into that at all, but it wouldn't surprise me behind the scenes, right?
yeah.
I don't know.
Ugh.
The one thing I thought was cool about the documentary, like probably my favorite part of it, is when they do the bass auditions. I thought that was really fucking
That was cool.
Yeah.
Seeing all the people that came in, and like the people that tried out were like Les Claypool tried out. I'm like, dude, like you're way too good of a bass player to be here. Like
That's the best part.
And it didn't
Not
it
a
didn't
fit.
the vibe at all. Yeah.
See, one thing we're not nostalgic for that we forget about is, you know, the legacy music industry establishment, which is this was still a part of because it hadn't collapsed yet. There was still a whole machinery involved that was very much invested in these bands turning out CDs, being played on the radio, FM radio, and then going out on the road and playing the hell of the songs. Although concert tickets sure didn't cost as much back then, did they?
They didn't.
No.
But then again, nothing did.
Right. And I think you're right, Jeremy, like that, like one of the things that was funny, because in the documentary they brought up the Napster thing with Lars, and I was like, oh my God, that's right. So on top of them releasing a less than like mediocre, I mean, one of the worst albums, I would put like one of the worst metal albums in my opinion. I don't know. Oh no, I don't know. But I hate it. Like that. Yeah. Not on top of that, Lars was also pushing to like literally sue their fans and do all this stuff. Like, how do you like your memories of that? Because we all were in that era, downloading music, burning CDs, and using all that. Like, I mean, how do you remember that whole moment?
We felt betrayed. We felt like he was an asshole. You remember those videos they had making fun of Lars and James? It's like, yeah. What the fuck, dude? You're rich.
James
I'm
is like,
poor.
beer
Shut
good,
up.
Napster bad.
Yep.
And Lars is like the little guy. He's like, these fucking guys just want to take a shit and like steal it, man. Like, yeah.
And you've seen it a few times.
Yeah. Well, that's also like, because that was before the album came out, right? So you're like, all right, already have kind of a bad vibe in your mouth, right? Because we all use, I mean, dude, you remember guys come to Ithaca and I'd be like, look, I downloaded every Pantera album ever for free. Like, let's listen to this. Like,
yeah.
And like, so it's like, all right, you already got a bad vibe in your mouth, and then this steaming pile of shit comes out, and I was like, fuck, like, ugh.
It was rough to be a Metallica fan at that point. Like you couldn't, especially in like in metal circles, like you had to like other bands. And I'm glad that all those other, because that was a really great time in metal too. That was the other thing. You had all these other bands coming out. I was going seeing shows with like Shadows Fall, Lamb of God, and like Together in One with
like
two or three other
System of a Down.
Yeah,
like,
and Irving Plaza. And then you're telling me Metallica can't put a good album out? I'm like, good. You know what? Thank God. There's all these other bands that actually are killing it. Like,
I don't like need this wave. What was it, the new wave of American thrash? What they called it at the time, right?
Yeah.
So you had that, and then you had like the new metal bands that had stuck around because they were actually good, right? Like, so it's like, all right, this is cool. But it was like it was just so bad, and you know, it was like the worst. Then, like on the tour, then like I don't know if you remember this, Duck. I think you may have gone to the show with me, like with the Summer Sanitarium tour they did on this. It was with fucking Limp Bizkit and Linkin Park they toured with, and like Mudvayne. And I'm like, what the fuck, bro? Like, what is this?
Not the best lineup.
And that was like coming off of last time when we'd seen him at Tattoo the Earth, where it was like, you know, Slayer. Metallica, Slayer, Slipknot, Soulfly, Sepultura, like you know. That like a beast lineup to then like the worst new metal bands out there. Like, if it was Metallica and Slipknot, I'd be like, all right, cool, I'll go see that, you know. But it's rough. Tough, dude. It was just a bad time for them. And then you know where we were, it's like then you're post college, so I kind of didn't even think about Metallica that much for a couple years after this until Death Magnetic came out.
Yeah. Yeah. This is sad.
It is.
Like I've said, Jeremy, like I'm looking over at Jeremy and he's like hunched over just
I'm looking at the
like
lineup for the lineup for the tour. Apparently, I didn't
Summer
realize it's still
Sanitation.
yeah, no for Tattoo the Earth. Metallica only played the Giant Stadium show.
Yeah, it was the only one.
Lamb
Yeah.
of God played Massachusetts, Michigan,
yeah.
Slipknot, Slayer, Sepultura, Seven Dust, all the S bands, Spine,
Seven
Jank.
dust.
All
Yeah.
the
Dear God.
late John. Yeah.
I mean,
The-
Down 2 came out in 2002. I mean, that's a great album, you know,
That's the
like
band that follows Hells on that one, right? Yeah. New
yeah,
Orleans is
yeah,
a dying whore. Yeah, it's a good album.
yeah.
Great name of a song, by the way.
Jesus. But that's what I
That is how
mean.
I feel about that city too. Sorry, guys.
But that
Accurate.
But that's what I mean. Like you had bands putting out good albums. I guess it just some of the things that like actually stuck with me was like I wonder what they listened to. What were they listening to at this moment? Like as well. Like what kind of other people are they talking to? Because like it doesn't mean it's just weird. Like when you see videos now of like you know Pantera being on tour, right? And like Phil talks about a lot of bands that he listens to. He loves music, like he's
Yeah.
into everything. I never hear them talk about the music they're listening to at any point at
Nope.
this. You know, it's weird. It's just
No, it's
really
very
concerning.
strange. Because it'd be like,
Hmm.
oh, like I
Yeah.
really like this band, and then you can see the influence. Like, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, you don't get any of that. All we see is Lars fucking selling his high end art. Um,
Oh,
that was the
hated that
worst too.
scene.
It made him
Champagne
look
toast.
terrible. He's like getting hammered on champagne, and you could tell he doesn't want to sell it, but his wife is making him sell it. And then they got divorced like a year after that.
She got half the money.
Well, she probably was. She had to get the hell out of there. I mean, do you remember that scene in the documentary when Lars screams directly in James's face, and James does nothing?
Like, oh,
I was like, oh my God. I was like, he's so lucky that he didn't get choked. Like, how can you be in a band with that person?
yeah. He's lucky James was not drinking anymore. His head would have been splattered against the wall, most likely.
Yeah, that was rough to watch. I think the whole time I'm like, man, no wonder James. Like, it's got to be rough. I mean, I don't know what the dynamics are, but like, it's funny to see Rob Trujillo come into into the band dynamic then, and then I love when Lars like, we want to give you $5 million just to show
Yeah.
us, tell you how, or a million, whatever, $1 million
And
or
he's like,
something.
what? What?
Yeah.
Like,
Huh? Okay.
yeah, he's a chill dude too, and you can see like with
Yeah.
the way that him and Kirk vibe nowadays, where every concert they do, like they do their own little jam thing, because you can
Mhm.
see how they're very similar dudes. You know, they're just like, dude, I'm just here to fucking play music. Like,
Yeah.
keep that bullshit away from me.
Yeah, he does. I mean, I remember seeing him with Suicidal Tendencies at Warped Tour, and he was awesome.
Yeah, dude,
I
he's
mean,
great. He was in BLS for a while with Zach. You know,
another good
and
band.
he was great. I think that scene is great though, where he's like, they're like, what do you want to play? And he's like, I don't know. You want to try maybe Battery? And they're like, whoa, whoa. And then he just rips it out with his fingers, and they're like, holy shit! Like,
What was that?
Yeah, Lars is
Yeah.
like, oh man, I gotta play this.
yeah.
Damn, I gotta play
They're like,
Battery now.
they're like, you don't want to play Devil's Dance?
Let's dance.
We've been working on this song called Sweet Amber. Do you want to play it?
Would you like a non-alcoholic beer?
Was that in what is that, Wolf of Wall Street, where he offers the guy, he's like, oh, so if you drink enough of them, you get fucked up? And he's like, no, it's
No.
non-alcoholic. He's like, why would you drink that?
Oh my God. Yeah, it's I don't know how much more we need to talk about this. I think
Yeah,
it's one of the
we're just-
saddest moments in Metallica's
agree.
history, other than when Cliff Burton died.
I
'Cause,
would agree.
like,
I'm gonna pretend. I just wish this era never existed. Is what I'm gonna pretend.
it's like the Rocky Five of Metallica.
I'd rather watch
I
Rocky
mean-
5 than listen to Saint Anger.
Well, ironically, the problem with Rocky Five is that the music sucks.
Yeah, especially
One of the
after Rocky
problems.
4.
Well,
Sue
I
me
mean,
for
Billy,
what?
would you rather watch Happy Gilmore 2 or listen to Saint Anger?
Fuck. Oh my god.
Everyone go back and watch Billy eviscerate Happy Gilmore 2 in the Happy Gilmore 2
Watching
episode.
Happy Gilmore 2 at least made me, look back fondly on how I much enjoyed the first one when I was 13 or 14 years old. Listening to Saint Anger and watching the documentary, it made me bitter about having enjoyed those things and now feeling betrayed. So it was a bit different. But of course, we're at different points in our life. It's different being 21 versus 42. It's twice as bad.
I think I'd have to say if I have to watch, if it's not watching the documentary and it's just listen to Saint Anger or watch Happy Gilmore 2, I'd probably listen to Saint Anger, but I wouldn't be happy about it.
I wouldn't be happy. It is shorter.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's less wasting of my time. If I had to watch the documentary, different beast.
Now that's really fun. It's funny because it's like I kind of agree with you because the only thing I would think in my head is like, well, it is shorter. It has nothing to do with quality. It's all about the amount of my time is being taken up because
we've gotten through the next one.
Yeah, it's just like I can't go through all this again. Like, it's like I have to watch him be a terrible father for about 45 minutes of this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, come on now.
Because what, $114 for Saint Anger and Happy Gilmore 2 was close to 2 hours.
It was almost close to 2 hours. Yeah.
Complete aside, just because I find this interesting, and maybe you guys will too, about that summer sanitarium tour. It had two legs in 2000 and 2003. In 2000, there was Korn, Kid Rock, Power Man 5000, System of a Down, Carmen and Burn. 2003 was
much better fucking leg, by the way.
Although 2003 had Deftones, they had Limp Bizkit, Linkin Park, Deftones, and Mudvayne. But agree. But apparently, it was Jason's last tour, obviously. But in the first leg, James hurt his back in a jet skiing accident. Had to sit out 3 shows, but they didn't cancel or postpone them. They just had Jason do most of the singing, and then the support acts pitched in for singing and guitar from Kid Rock and Serge and Darren from System and Jonathan Davis of Korn.
Oh yeah, there's some weird covers that of some of those shows, and it's the same too when they were touring with Slipknot at one point. Lars got injured. Like there's Joey Jordison playing on a Metallica song, which is fucking crazy.
That would be an immediate improvement.
Amazing.
Yeah, I think it was something fast, like Puppets or Battery.
It's always something fast because he cannot do it. He couldn't do it then. I don't know how he did it, but
because he was doing a lot of meth.
Yeah.
Performance enhancing drugs.
Creeping death. That's what it was.
Oh, nice. Okay. All right. Well, let's just get this. Let's get this over with and put these two things at this. So, Saint Anger, does it pass the nostalgia test? Is it good? Is it just nostalgic, or is this just a bad album?
It's ineligible. It had to have been good or enjoyable in the first place for you to be nostalgic about it.
I think you may be right.
Jeremy, always finding a hole in the nostalgia test. You're right. It's basically ineligible because there was nothing.
Yeah, at least like Santa Claus the movie, we thought it was good when we were kids, and then we watched it again and realized how terrible it was. But like we thought this sucked at the time, but we still got to give it the rating. So
yeah,
nice try. I'm saying, but what's your rating?
Yeah.
What are my options here?
Good, nostalgic, or just terrible?
I think that falls into option 3. It's not. It's no bueno.
It's no bueno. Billy?
This is clearly like it's an abhorrent fail. Like it's absolute pile of shit. Like, as for me, who like you guys know, I'm like a huge fucking Metallica fan, and like the fact that I tried to defend this at the time and make myself like it was such a pathetic exercise that it makes me hate it even more. So,
and thinking about how distraught you clearly were as my friend at the time also makes it even less enjoyable.
Yeah, because it was like, dude, like what the fuck, man? Like I'm like, why did I get this stupid tattoo 2 years ago?
That's the other thing I was gonna say. Because you had that Metallica tattoo. Before. Yeah,
there you go.
And then you had to walk around with that after that scene.
Yeah, because I got that in when did I turn 18 in 2000. So I got that in November 2000, and then 2.5 years later, like
yeah, you're between like two terrible, really like Metallica moments, and then all of a sudden this comes out, and it's just like, oh god.
Yeah. We can say we've known Bill so long, we knew when his Metallica tattoo was still red.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
You can barely see it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this was bad then. It's bad now. This is a very horrible era in terms of Metallica. It was painful era for Metallica and all their fans. And I think right now with people talking about, there's still things to like about it now, and like looking back on it, it was a cathartic album that, and there's been a lot of reviews and things written on people saying how like, no, it wasn't as bad as we think. I think they're wrong. It is a really bad album.
Revisionist history.
Yeah, because like one, you could watch the documentary. They did not care about what they were doing. They phoned it in. They didn't really come in with any ideas. They attempted something that they weren't good at, and I think they just didn't want to be there. They hated each other, and Kirk was, dragged along for the ride, and they rushed into making an album after their bass player left, and they shouldn't have done that. So yeah, that's it for the album. But I mean, what about the documentary? Like, I don't know if we have to put the documentary to the test. As a documentary, like, I think it does a good job of like marking the time.
I enjoyed it more. I
thought it had more value.
At the time, yeah. It was definitely illuminating. Yeah. It's like new episodes of The Simpsons, right? They're still making them. Some people like them, but they're standing on the shoulders of giants, and none of it would exist if they hadn't actually done something worthwhile before. But who can remember that anymore? Because it was in a dark age, shrouded in primordial mist at this point.
They're standing on the shoulders of giants and not stopping to think. They're thinking, "Can I do it?" But they're not thinking, "Should I do it?"
Yes. To quote Jurassic Park, giants also something that used to bring Bill joy that makes him extremely upset now.
Oh yeah, talk about a franchise they fucking killed. God damn.
Oh God, I think that's the thing. They could have taken a lot longer. If you're Metallica and you put out, after the Black Album, you put 2 albums out. It's like, okay, they've sold millions of records in those 2 records.
Like, we want to experiment, do different things. Like, okay, fine, now chill. Like,
or put an EP out, or just figure this take.
Or do this
longer.
process and then listen to Lars's dad and hit delete. Like, we need this because the learning to work together, the cathartic thing, blah 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 blah. But then don't try and lie to all of us and tell us this is fucking good, like, because it's not.
No,
just hit delete. Like, it's a part of your therapy process. Essentially, what this is, right?
Yeah,
and that's why I thought the documentary was interesting. But then, like, now I'm gonna listen to this and pay money for it. Like, fuck you. Like,
I think we hit on this during the load and reload session, but right in between those albums, right, between Saint Anger and Load and Reload, they put out Last Night was in between, but they also put out Garage Inc., which go back and listen to that album. Now. Fantastic. They're
produced well, good covers.
Just do another cover album.
Their cover, I mean, even the new covers they did, they're obviously just enjoying playing the hell out of those so much more than the stuff that they're writing, and they put them in a good light. Their Sabbath
love to see
covers are fantastic.
Well, did you hear the Dio one they did, the Dio medley they did on the album that came out after he died, where it's got like it's got a bunch of rainbow songs, and it's just the long part of Kill the King, and like it's fucking awesome. Like, because they bring a different vibe to it. Just put out covers.
Just do that, Metallica. And that brings us then now to the end of this episode. I think we did enough with Saint Anger. It got more than it needed. Guys, thank you so much for listening. We'd love to hear your thoughts on Saint Anger or not. I mean, because if here's the thing. I do want to hear them, but I don't think unless you think, I don't know, if you think this album's good, you really got to try to convince us that this is good, because it's not. Like, I don't find any sort of musical redemption for Saint Anger. And but follow us and enjoy and listen to the other episodes for the Metallica errors. And we still got a couple errors, like 1 error left, and maybe Lulu if we wanted to do that.
Listen to 80s Metallica.
Dear God. But everyone, thank you for listening. Thanks for hanging out. Billy, Jeremy, thank you for doing this again. Jeremy, once again, taking on another Metallica episode. But hopefully we'll get to ones that are more musical soon. So everyone, peace.
Share this episode with your friends. Subscribe and follow the Nostalgia Test podcast on YouTube, Substack, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. Send us your episode ideas and comments, or book us for podcasts and events at thenostalgiatest@gmail.com. Come hang out with us next week, because you never know what pop culture will pop up on the Nostalgia Test.